The Thunder and the Mavs are going to Game 7. That's the only way, Jono, this plays out.
Yep.
Series is tied at 2-2. Let's get locked in. NBA casuals. Let's flip a coin.
Let's do it.
Heads or tails, John?
I'm going to go heads.
Heads? It is heads. Who you got? OKC or Dallas? Your pick, your agenda. Set the narrative.
I'll go with OKC.
OKC. All right. 2-2. The young boys. I don't mean it that way.
The youngest.
I don't mean that. The rookies.
Don't be on your Aubrey type of beat today, yeah?
Okay. But the
Be careful.
rookies are doing it.
Yep.
They're handling business away from home. Got the series tied up 2-2.
They had to, and they did.
Talk to me. Where does this conversation start for you with OKC? SGA, what are you seeing about him?
That's where it starts. He has been incredible this series, carrying the Thunder. He scored 30 from games 2 to 4, and in game 1, he had 29, 9, and 9. So he's been dominating. And today was crucial for them. If they went down 3-1,
Yeah.
they weren't coming back. And in the clutch, he was amazing. I think he went about 4 for 5. I was watching it live. I'm like, he's not missing at all. And then you see Luka and Kyrie on the other side. They're struggling to close today, which is something you never would have expected.
I told you.
Something you never would have expected. He's been so clinical for them, leading them from the front. And you can see they're a team. After every game, or at least their wins, you see the post-game interview. I'm not talking about the barking.
It sounded like you were talking about the barking
in the interview, the whole team is there.
Yeah.
The starters, the role players, and the outside bench players as well. They're all there huddled, listening to the person interviewed, typically Shea, and they have their fun barking afterwards. And last week, I talked about Jalen Williams having to step up the score, especially on the offensive side in particular, scoring. He's only averaging about 17, 18 points this series, but his points have been impactful, and the fact that Luka and Kyrie, especially Luka, have been struggling has been a big factor for Jalen Williams being quite impactful in the series so far.
What I've seen from this series so far, both teams, they're giving me this vibe that they're happy to live with role player variants. I'm seeing a lot in terms of doubling Kyrie.
Yes.
Luka, you've got Dort. It's a matchup you're sort of happy with.
He's been put into the Dort chamber.
Exactly.
He has been.
I don't, co-sign that, but
you don't have to.
Yeah. And then you look at the flip side. When Shea has the ball, I'm seeing boxes and ones.
Yes, but
I'm seeing like so much rigidness from Dallas and just getting the ball out of his hands, it feels like.
Like they're kind of cramping the space.
Yeah.
But they're not like fully crowding like they are for Luka. He's so smooth. He just finds the gaps and he pulls up. He rejects all the threes he gets. Even if he's open for like a few meters, he doesn't take it. He gets the ball, dribble about another 5 feet into the mid, and he just doesn't miss. He doesn't miss at all.
Should I play like some aura music?
You can try it, see how it goes.
All right.
Might go crazy.
With the OKC, last thing.
Yeah.
And this is the one thing I don't think Dallas has an answer for, by the way. It's Chet Holmgren. I don't think there is any answer defensively for him. And I feel like that is one avenue you can go if you are looking to find something new. If you are looking to find a new 1%.
Do you think he's been that dominant this series?
I don't think he has, but I think just watching the few times I do see him score, few times I do see his gravity impact the play off the roll. I do think there is enough there with him. And you're looking at a very small lineup. I don't care how many moments PJ Washington and Gafford and the boys have.
You think you're talking about Dallas having a small lineup?
I think part of
OKC
it,
is small.
I know they are small, but they've got Chet as well.
Yeah, but Dallas has been killing them on the boards.
I know, but I just feel offensively, at least, defense aside, offensively, there is ways to use Chet a bit more.
100%. When they're spaced out and they go to that pick and roll with Shea, if Chet sets a good screen and Shea is able to drive like he does into that mid-range, and Chet's popping, it's almost impossible to defend, especially if Chet is hitting those threes. They can go on a big run and it's almost impossible to stop.
Yeah. And I just feel like when you do end up switching those sort of screens,
and then
Chet is capable of punishing these mismatches as well.
Yeah, and then Shea on a guard is already kind of a mismatch. Shea on a big, that's a complete mismatch. And you don't want that at all. The way he's playing this series, this whole season, this playoffs, that's not something you want if you're the Dallas Mavericks.
We've been recording for 5 minutes now, and I've just heard eulogy after eulogy
about
SGA.
Yeah, I mean, He's on another level right now. Yeah. He is.
All right, let's get into it then. Dallas Mavericks, the second half of this video. If you haven't already, guys, hit the subscribe button. We're hitting 200 before the end of the financial year. Come tax time, we're clutch. The Dallas Mavericks, John.
Yep.
Strong help, as I said, on SGA. You've got...
On SGA?
On SGA.
Oh, okay.
And you've got Derek Jones Jr., like you said a couple weeks back, primary ball defender for SGA. So we're getting a few things right. They are looking to contain those sort of drives.
Case and Wallace as well and Luka.
Yeah. You got a couple good calls over on your side. But what are we seeing from Dallas Mavericks in Game 3? Let's go back to it. Who was it with the monster game?
PJ Washington.
Exactly.
In games 2 and 3, went for like 29 in both games.
Exactly. This is what we like to call role player variance.
I mean, even today in game 4, he hit about 5 or 6 threes again.
Look, I'll let the sample size take care of this one. Yeah. I'm just kidding. If he does it for one more game, they could win the series. But I would like to flip that sort of narrative. You know, we've gone back, and I did say this series was going to 7 games.
Yep.
What happened in that amazing Boston-Milwaukee series? Grant Williams deciding the
Game
series.
7 decided to hit 7 threes.
I just have to ask the question, John. Are we going to get the Josh Giddey game?
No. He's not going to get enough minutes to even have that
Because
game.
that's what I'm thinking. Either he gets no minutes at all, and you see OKC's roster, Hayward didn't get minutes today. I think you'll see them cramp up even more.
It's more likely you get the Isaiah Joe or the Lou Dort game where, like, obviously Dort's been defending like crazy, but he just hits threes like crazy.
And I do see avenues for Dort to do that, but I think if Josh Giddey wants to prove the doubters wrong,
it won't be this series. This ain't the series.
It will have to be this series, but probably won't. No.
And like you said, you say the series is going to 7.
Yeah.
The only reason it is going to go to 7, which I think we both agree on that, is because Kyrie hasn't been good and Luka has been very bad for his standards.
Let's talk about it. Luka, bad for his standards. And I don't know how much of it is the injury. How much of it is just him being put in a chokehold.
It's a mix of injury, being put in a chokehold by Lou Dort specifically, and I haven't been a fan of his mindset. This is the way he's reacted to things.
You've been talking to him after the games and shit?
That's why he's still playing bad.
Yeah.
Especially today when I was having a watch, any sort of contact.
Yeah.
He just throws a shot up and then he looks to the ref complaining. He's not even worried about getting back on defense.
He's got that Jamal Murray angst in his eyes right now.
But at least Jamal will get back on defense and compete. He doesn't. He just goes, sits in the corner, or like gets back late and then they're scrambling and then they give up an easy bucket. Like, get back on defense and then complain if you want while still defending at least. But he's complaining about everything. He's gone back to that kind of regular season mindset where he's always getting those texts, but he's not getting it here because it's the playoffs.
So much of what we've seen from Luka is that production. And if we aren't getting it,
you're
looking at guys needing to step up. And one thing that's been very, very interesting with Kyrie, you're looking at first half just blanking.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
And we're going to have to get into it because the regular season numbers, I don't know what they look like. You've got them up on the screen right now. See how it compares for yourself, but this is not something we anticipated.
Yep.
And the other side of it is, are you happy with these overall low-scoring games? We look at game 3, I think it was. Low-scoring game, but everyone, you included, Tommy, had a great game. Did everything right. Made the right reads, made the right plays.
Yep.
And again, you've seen in game 4, heavy doubles. You've seen so much concentration on him that he's just having to make passes, make plays. Are you happy with what you saw from Kyrie in game 4 just then? Just today?
No, today I wasn't. I felt like he was forcing it too much, just trying to force up a few shots.
Yeah.
And he got blocked on jumpers, which you never really see from Kyrie, even though he's a smaller guard, just because he's so technical. They're really cramping on their drives for both Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah.
Sometimes Luka goes into a shell where he's just like, okay, yeah, they're doubling. I'm just going to kick it out. And sometimes I would like to see him kind of force it a bit and just attack because he's a bigger body.
Also, these are the 2 isolation guys that we goddamn trust. That's what this team was meant to be about.
He's taking tough shots. I haven't really seen him get all the way to the rim much. He's getting past Lou Dort, putting him in jail, and then stepping back and then shooting immediately. I'm like, there's no need. There's no need for that.
Sounds like a certain guy I know from the LA Clippers running point. That's what it sounds like to me.
Hey,
that's what
we'll see him next year.
Exactly right. We'll see him very soon. He's in Cancun right now. Fellas, you've stayed this long. I got one more question, not related to today's game, but we
Okay.
got to talk about it.
Sure.
The NBA draft lottery happened. The Atlanta Hawks pick up the first
Somehow.
pick out of nowhere. There's been a lot of talk of Trae Young leaving
Oh.
the Atlanta Hawks.
Okay. Yep.
If this is 2K, you're in charge of the Hawks.
Mm.
Are you keeping him, first of all? And if not, where do you send him? Where should he go?
See, the common talk has been Trae and Wemby together would be cool.
Yeah.
And the Spurs, they have the 4th and the 8th pick as well in this draft.
I'm just saying.
There's a package there that's available. I'm sure they could package up and send for Trae, but the Spurs defense was already bad, and they had Wemby, who in my opinion was a deep boy. You add Trae Young there, it's not getting any better. I'm sure, as much as I like the lobs from Trae to Wemby, everything else I'm not too much of a fan of. I'm not too much of a fan.
You know where my heart's at?
Where?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Need a
But-
point guard.
Just mediocre.
Okay, if you want to do that, feel free. But they need a point guard. They need a point guard, John. And they accrued some picks from Phoenix, which made up for the picks they lost to the Rockets. But if you do want this team to go anywhere,
Yep.
if it isn't going to be total rebuild right now, which is probably what it should be,
Yeah.
then I think Trae Young is that guy on the market. You can get him for a discount, I would say, compared to...
Will he take a discount?
No, I don't mean in terms of free agency. I mean
Oh.
in terms of a trade value.
Oh, okay.
In terms
right.
of a trade value.
Yep.
I feel like no one's talking about Trae Young. No one's talked about him for a couple of years now. Whether you like it or not, that is the way.
I mean, when Ben Simmons makes you
Conversation.
irrelevant, when Ben Simmons makes you irrelevant, are you really relevant?
Are you talking about the Nets? Or,
Ben Simmons.
yeah.
You know, the open layup that he didn't.
Come on, man. We're still hating on players.
I'm not hating. I'm just stating
We're still
facts.
hating on players from 2-3 years ago.
I mean, you said he hasn't done much the last two.
I didn't
2
say he
years,
hasn't
so
done much. All I said was people don't talk about him.
There's a reason for that.
That's up to you to decide.
There's a
Numbers are
reason
still
for
there.
that.
You wait and see. Now I'm a Trae Young fan just because you're a Trae Young hater.
Good.
All right. It
I'm
got
ready
a bit
for the
too
downfall.
casual. This is NBA Casuals. We'll have a new video for you next week. Actually, tomorrow. Why am I lying?
Yeah.
Stay locked in.